Jess is put on alert when her mother-in-law gives her expensive shoes for her birthday. Her worst fears are realized when she wears them on a business trip and the TSA finds something suspicious inside. Now she has to figure out if it was an attempt at sabotage or something darker. I should have known something was wrong when I accepted Debbie's gift. In retrospect, the signs were obvious. That too sweet smile as she handed me the box, the way she looked at me that didn't convey genuine kindness. But what was I to do? They were just shoes, weren't they? Lovely yellow patent leather shoes with thick heels, just my style. And, for the first time, my mother-in-law seemed to make an effort. "Oh, they're gorgeous," I said, plastering on an enthusiastic smile as Arthur beamed next to me. "Thank you, Debbie." She waved it off. "I've noticed that you always wear practical shoes. I think you could use something pretty." It was a hidden jab, wrapped in silk, as always. But I smiled and nodded, as always. That's what you do if you want to keep the peace, right? When your husband loves his mother and you try to be more tolerant? Besides, this wasn't the first time she'd thrown something like that at me. At Christmas, she reminded Arthur if he remembered the turkey goddess his ex-girlfriend Sarah used to cook. Or when she showed up unexpectedly at our anniversary party, bringing old photo albums with pictures of Arthur as a child and staying for 3 hours. Each of her appearances was like a diplomatic mission, where I played the role of an ambassador of a hostile state. "She's just gotten used to her behavior," Arthur said after a particularly tense encounter. "Give her time." But more than a year has passed, and her behavior has gotten worse, not better. I didn't wear the shoes for a week. They sat in the box, untouched and accusing, until my business trip to Chicago came around. Arthur lay on our bed, scrolling through his phone while I packed my suitcase. "You should wear your mom's shoes," he suggested. "Show her you appreciate her." I ran my finger over the smooth skin. "Yeah, maybe. I think she's trying, you know," he added, looking up from the screen. "This is her way of extending an olive branch." If only I had listened to my gut feeling and not his optimism. I felt the first alarm signal already at the airport. Something was wrong. Like something was inside my left shoe, but when I took it off to check, there was nothing there. Just shiny leather and the smell of new shoes. "Everything okay?" asked the man in line behind me, looking impatiently at his watch. "Yeah, I'm just getting used to the new shoes," I muttered and pulled them back on. But it wasn't like that. With every step toward security, I felt the pressure in my legs increase, as if something was trying to squeeze out. When I finally got to the conveyor belt, I was almost limping. I breathed a sigh of relief when the TSA agent asked me to take off my shoes and place them on the belt. The TSA agent's face said it all before he opened his mouth. He had already gone through hundreds of tests with a tired look, but something made him straighten up and squint as he looked at the screen. "Miss, please stand aside, thank you." My stomach clenched. "What's wrong?" He pointed to the X-ray screen, where something dark and solid stood out in the silhouette of my left shoe. "We need to check this. Please remove the insole." I clenched my fists to keep from panicking. "These are a gift from my mother-in-law. This is the first time I've worn them." The insole finally slid out with a soft squeak. Inside, neatly cut out of the sole, was a small, clear plastic-wrapped package. The TSA agent's face hardened. "Can you explain what this is?" "These aren't my shoes." "I mean, they are, but they were a gift." "I didn't know," my voice broke. "Please, I don't know what these are. I have a presentation in Chicago tomorrow. We need to run content tests," he interrupted. "Please wait here." 20 minutes felt like 20 years. I sat on the hard plastic chair, watching the other passengers pass by, headlines spinning in my head, marketing executive caught smuggling drugs. I thought about calling Arthur, but I couldn't bring myself to tell him over the phone. What would he think? What would Debbie say? When the senior officer finally came to talk to me, his eyes were kind but his mouth was stern. "The first tests showed no drugs in the bag," he said. But for security reasons, we can't allow you to take it on this flight. You see, it could have been much more serious. Yes, sir, I said, holding back tears of relief. Sorry for the inconvenience. Be careful what you take through security, he warned me as he cleared me to go. I put the bag in one of the airport lockers and hurried to my flight. I barely had time to board the plane, and the whole flight to Chicago I was wondering what kind of game this was. Why did Debbie do this? What was she trying to achieve? Each version seemed less likely than the last, but they all led to the inevitable conclusion: my mother-in-law had deliberately set me up. I picked up the package immediately upon arrival and took it to the lab for analysis. When the results came back, I could hardly believe my eyes. I stared at the report as my coffee cooled. Wormwood. St. John's wort. Saint. According to my frantic Google search, this plant was used in folk magic. It was used in rituals to banish people, sever ties, or protect against unwanted influences. Debbie tried to use magic to get rid of me. I waited until we'd finished dinner. He was already loading the dishwasher, humming to himself, when I finally found the strength. We need to talk about your mother, I said. He turned around, his hands covered in soap suds. What happened? I told him everything, about the airport, the herbs, and what I had learned about the magical properties of plants. His face darkened with every word I said, his jaw tensing as he clenched his teeth. I knew she would get in your way, but this... He shook his head. This is something else entirely. This is on another level, and it's unforgivable. What should we do? He looked at me, and I saw the pain in his eyes. But there was determination there, too. I'm going to call her now. And I'm going to tell her that until she admits what she did and apologizes to you, she's not coming into our house again. Arthur, you don't need to. You have to, he said firmly, grabbing my hand. His grip was confident and strong. She crossed the line, Jess. She tried to hurt you and make you look like a criminal. I love my mom, but I won't let her ruin our marriage. You're my family, and it's time for her to understand that. I leaned against him, feeling his heart pounding in my chest. The shoes were still in our closet, a reminder that sometimes the most dangerous gifts are hidden in the most beautiful packages. When Arthur picked up the phone, I knew we would get through this storm together and come out stronger. Maybe someday Debbie will realize that there is enough room in Arthur's heart for both of us. In the meantime, we'll take a break and be careful with the gifts. Write in the comments what you think about the heroes of our story. Subscribe to our channel.